What's going on, ladies and gents? Kage's here, and welcome back to another Beatbreak episode. Today, we're diving into episode 3, titled Mirror Reflection. Digimon Beatbreak just dropped an episode that took everyone by a surprise, and of course, in the best possible way. A beautifully introspective chapter that explores the emotional development and vulnerability of our main character, Tomoro Tenma. So be sure to subscribe if you enjoy. Let's dive into my review and let's get it. Last time, we saw Tomoro finally meet up with the members of the Glowing Dawn, and this week, things get deeper. The story touches on Tomoro's past, introducing a broker's bar, Garando, dives into the mirror world, and ends with a chaotic Gekkomon's rampage. So yeah, a lot happened in this episode, and as usual, I will be giving my thoughts along the way. The episode starts with a bit of a comedy. Rena and Makoto barge in to Tomoro's room angrily, wakes up Tomoro that's been sleeping, and it turns out Tomoro's partner Digimon, Gekkomon, seems to eat everything that's in the house, which is crazy. A week's worth of food, by the way. I laughed my ass off when Pristimon caught Gekkomon in action with, I don't know, some kind of trap, and Gekkomon over here, without feeling any guilt, keeps on licking it. The almond tofu pudding or whatever that Rena been saving. She even put a warning to whoever touched it too. Not gonna lie, I will be super mad if someone just snatched my udon. But Kage, what if it's a family member's? No, but Kage, shush, I don't give up. And of course, Rena here is super mad and demands Tomoro's responsibility for the action of his Digimon. Duh, right? And to make up for Gekkomon's eating a week's worth of food, the cruise goes fishing. That's fun, right? Oh, and we can see that the Glowing Dawn actually cultivates or grew their own veggies. We saw Makoto picking up one, and that's actually smart of them to do that. And we find an interesting rules that the Golden Dawn has, which is that everyone gets this turn when it comes to cooking, not just Kyo. And Rena over here mentions Kyo specifically that she doesn't want Kyo to miss out on his breakfast. That's actually so sweet of her, and we'll find out throughout the episode that Rena over here is actually a bit of a tsundere. And more than that, we can tell she respects Kyo so much, and I can't wait to see her backstory. And speaking of backstory, this is actually where we get a glimpse into Tomoro's backstory. And apparently, ever since he was a kid, his unique E-Pulse caused his Sapotama to bug out over and over again. And because of that, his classmates and even the teachers called him weird, broken, or glitched. That kind of thing really hits hard. He basically grew up isolated with no one really understanding him. And because of all that, Tomoro stopped trusting Sapotamas and AI entirely. It's a small scene, but it adds so much depth to his character. Then, right when things start feeling emotional, Rena somehow hooks up a snake instead of a fish and starts screaming. And Pristimon panics too. She used Pristimon and literally opens fire. And all the fish that they manage to gather ends up full of holes. And you know what's the craziest part of all this? Is the fact that that wasn't even a snake. It was just some kind of leather or socks that looks like a snake. Man, it's just hilarious. So classic type of gag, and Kyo is like, it tastes the same, so it's fine. Honestly, I really appreciate how Beatbreak balanced the tone since the first episode, right? They never fail to throw in a gag or a comedic break, if you will, right? After something heavy. It keeps the pacing tight and the mood just right, serious but never too gloomy. The team then heads to a bar named Garando to gather intel about the bounty system and the current situation over there. And not gonna lie, Garando is such a cool ass name. There we meet the bartender, which is Maki Kutsuwada, which is an ex-cleaner, and then the old man that we saw in the ending theme, which is Yoshimura. Anyway, when the crew arrives, they realize that the information that they have doesn't line up at all with what the Ministry of Civil Protection is saying, even though it's clear that Gokumon deleted Hayamon and stole Asuka Tenma's Sapotama, but the Ministry official story completely contradicts it. And according to them, Hayamon that got deleted was the one holding Hitomi's Sapotama and didn't mention anything about Asuka. And at this point, I can't help but feel sus about it, right? It almost feels like the Ministry themselves wanted Asuka's E-Pulse. Maybe they're the one that sent Gokumon in the first place. You can feel the shady vibes from a mile away, brother. Plus, since Asuka and Tomoro are siblings, and if Tomoro's E-Pulse is special, it only makes sense that Asuka's would be too, right? And it would be right for Asuka to hide Tomoro from the world. On top of that, Asuka did talk like he knew something about it, right? From the first episode. And if things continue down this path and the story leans into a government conspiracy, we might be looking at a huge scale conflict later on. And honestly, I think this setup has a massive potential. It's phenomenal. Tomoro and the others finally track down Hayamon, the one that has the piercing, and not gonna lie, I really love the way they tweak the designs of the Digimons to fit in the story. It's a small but cool design touch. But before they know it, they're pulled straight into the mirror world. There, Hayamon evolves into Fangmon, twists the battlefield into a dense forest, and even disguises himself as Gekkomon. And that got me thinking, why brings them into the mirror world in the first place? Did Digimon become stronger here? I guess it's straight up a good thing from the human perspective too, right? I mean, fighting in the middle of the city would be chaotic, and this reminds me of Appmon too. Like they can go all out inside that space. The mirror world seems like a contained space, destructive but safe. Then there's the big moments, right? Where Fangmon disguises himself as someone close to Tomoro and it's Gekkomon. But Tomoro sees through the trick for the second time and drives his drumstick right into Fangmon's neck. It's so brave of him to do that. And in that split-second opening, Gekkomon sticks his tongue into Fangmon's mouth to retrieve Hitomi's Sapotama. Them working together and this whole saving Hitomi's mission is so wholesome now that I think about it. And after defeating and reverting Fangmon to its baby form, Tomoro tells Gekkomon to actually delete it. And honestly, I don't blame him. After everything that happened, it's easy to think that this is the Digimon that caused all that pain. And I'm gonna just end it here. It's that raw emotional impulse, right? I mean, who can blame the guy? It's just been a day since he know about Digimon and everything, right? But Gekkomon over here refuses. Then suddenly, a dark mist leaks from Tomoro's E-Pulse because of his anger. And that's when Gekkomon completely loses control. It's a terrifying scene, dude. I'm actually feel sad looking at Gekkomon like that. It reminds me of Ghost Game when Gammamon evolved into Gulo's Gammamon. I actually cried there, not gonna lie. But here, it's a little different. It's not a separate personality or form. It's Tomoro's emotional instability directly affecting Gekkomon's evolution. And that makes it way more personal, right? I think this moment tells us that Tomoro's growth mentally and emotionally will shape how Gekkomon evolves from here on out. It's both fascinating and kinda scary too. Then we get another of Glowing Dawn's one and only rule. Never delete a Digimon. When Kyo says just because it's a bug doesn't mean you erase it, right? That line really hit me in the feels hard, dude. Especially knowing Tomoro's backstory. He was literally called a bug, glitch, as a kid. From how his E-Pulse and everything, and I think that moment hit him on a really deep level. Gets him to an understanding, right? And honestly, I feel like every member of Glowing Dawn probably has their own version of that same pain. They've all been misunderstood, rejected, or labeled broken, and that shared experience is what binds them together. I think it's a beautiful scene and it adds so much heart to the series. By the way, they returned Hitomi Sapotama and successfully cured her cold heart condition. And I'm really happy for her, and that also means that Asuka can probably be saved too. But here's the twist. If a Digimon eats an E-Pulse, it's digested and completely disappears. So now we can only hope that Gokumon, who took on Asuka Sapotama, hasn't consumed his E-Pulse yet. If it has, then it's a game over, right? But I don't think so that's the case. And first of all, I think the team gotta level up to an ultimate to even fight Gokumon, unless they be smart and all and actually snatch it from him, which I don't see happening, or they gang up on him. I mean, we got Murasamemon on our side, right? I just can't shake the feeling that the Ministry of Civil Protection is still involved in all this. Something tells me Asuka's E-Pulse is being stored somewhere, maybe as a part of a bigger plan. And finally, that reconciliation scene between Tomoro and Gekkomon at the end, it was genuinely adorable. Seeing how Tomoro actually apologizes to Gekkomon for what he says and calling him Gekkomon for the first time instead of just Lizard this whole time, it's just wholesome, dude. The character development is really great, especially after all that chaos. Seeing them reconnect was the perfect emotional cooldown. Next week's episode is titled Family, and judging by how the story is escalating, I think things are about to get even more emotional. Overall, episode 3 was amazing. Again, Beatbreak is cooking with this episode. The raw emotion of Tomoro is so real, given the fact it's just been a day since he learns about Digimon, and not in a good way too. He apologizes for that too to Gekkomon, so it's all good. The story pacing feels tight, the emotional beats hits hard, and every week just leaves me wanting more. It's only episode 3, but Beatbreak is already showing incredible promise. So yeah, that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. And as always, thanks for watching, stay safe, and have a great day. Peace.